Hi, my name is Lenny Burden. I am a third grade teacher. This lesson is geared toward third grade students. During this lesson, we will be finding equal groups using arrays. Students will be able to say, I can solve division problems by creating equal groups. Our core content numbers are MA-EP-1.1.1, 1.3.1, and 1.3.3. During this lesson, our manipulatives that we are going to be using are pennies. These happen to be fake pennies, but you could use real pennies. You also wouldn't necessarily have to use pennies. You could use small little tokens as counters. Parents at home could use things as simple as macaroni noodles or things just laying around the house. Okay, we're going to get started. I also have a template that has it's pre-drawn for students to help them organize their information. We'll use this template in our lesson. So to get started, I would pose the problem, Leah and Matthew share 14 pennies equally. How many pennies does each child get? The first thing we're going to do is we know that we have 14 pennies. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put that number onto our organizer. We also know that we have two children, Leah and Matthew. What we are wanting to find out is how many pennies per child. We also want to know if there will be any pennies remaining. So now what we're going to do is we're going to count out 14 pennies. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have our 14 pennies. Now, what we want to do is we are going to create an array. We're going to start with our two rows for our two children, Leah and Matthew. Now, we're going to put equal groups into the rows. Right now we have 1 penny in each row. Now we have 2, so we've used 1, 2, 3, 4 pennies, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we used all 14 pennies, so we know that we had 0 pennies remaining. Now we're going to see how many pennies each child has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we know that each child has 7 pennies. We can put this into a division problem by saying our dividend begins with the number of pennies that we started with, 14. Our divisor is the number we divided by. It's our children. We divided by 2. So 14 divided by 2. Our quotient is going to be the pennies per child. So we know that our quotient was 7. Okay, and we know that we had 0 pennies remaining in that group. Now, I'm going to pose a new problem for students. Our next problem is going to be if we have, instead of writing the word, now I'm just going to say that we have 12 pennies and 3 children. So we're going to erase, and I would have students do this as well. They would erase their template to start over. Okay, so we're going to count out 12 pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pennies. So we know that we start with 12 pennies. Okay, we have 3 children. We still want to know how many pennies per child and if there are any pennies remaining. So we know that in our array we're going to have 3 rows for the 3 children. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to fill up our rows. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we know that we didn't have any pennies remaining. Okay, we also had 1, 2, 3, 4 pennies in each row. Okay, so to put this into our division problem, we know that our dividend was the number of pennies, 12, divided by the divisor, the number of children, 3. So our quotient was the pennies per child, 4. And we had a remainder of 0. Okay, if we did another problem, again, I would have students erase. Okay, then I would pose the problem. Okay, what if we had 15 pennies and 4 children? So what we would do, we would count out our 15 pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So put my other pennies away. Okay, we have our 15 pennies. We have our 4 children. So we're looking for how many pennies per child and if there are any pennies remaining. So we're going to start with 4 rows that represent our 4 children. We're going to fill it in. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But something happens. I only have 3 pennies left. These will not fit into, so we know that we have 3 pennies remaining. And each row gets 1, 2, 3. So we know that we have 15, okay, 15 pennies as our dividend, divided by 4, okay. We know that we only have 3, and then, since I have 3 pennies left, I have to write an R that shows my remainder, represents my remainder, and I have a remainder of 3. Okay? Let's try one more problem. In this one, we're going to say we're going to have 20 pennies, and we're going to divide those 20 pennies. We're going to put them into equal groups, 6 equal groups. Okay? So let's count out our 20 pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, we're going to start off. We know we have 20 pennies. We know that there are 6 children. So, and I can go ahead and start filling in part of my organizer by saying 20 divided by 6. Now we're going to see how many pennies per child and how many pennies remaining. So let's create our array with 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And I still have 2 pennies left. So that tells me that 20 divided by 6, I have a quotient of 3 with a remainder, of 2 pennies. So 20 divided by 6 would be 3 pennies per child with 2 pennies remaining. So we know that our answer is 3 remainder 2. Thank you.